video, I guess, there. Hello, Mr. Cash.
Good day to you. As usual, you're welcome wherever and whenever you're watching these teachings. I've been away most of this week. It's my first day back here since last Thursday. And there's a lot happening around the foundation and the work we do. There is a huge discussion and there is a question and there are confusions about blueprint of the MAGRAV power unit. There is nothing wrong with most of the systems you made unless you have short-circuited your system by over gansing, which what you've done. Anybody knows where my pen is? As I explained last week, if this is your coil, if you have over gansed your system, you have put GaNs material too much, and literally what you've done is you have, can I get rid of this bar at the bottom? Or it can be there. Okay, I can see this, no problem. So, no problem. No problem, just wait. So, what has happened is that you have put too much GaNs, but at this point, the two rings have literally filled up with gases. So instead of having a spring, what you have is a continuous tube. And this is, some of you will find problem with your system. I can change it. So what you actually have is a tube instead of plasmas connected interconnect. We explained some of you have produced GaNs material or nano-coated material through caustic. As far as we see, there is no problem with it. The only problem you have, majority of it is this, or when you connected, you did not polarize your system with the negative and positive or positive negative of your nano-coating. A lot of you, we're going to confirm this to you. We know this one for some times, but we would like you, if you don't want to change to a different method of nano-coating, you can keep your systems running. Don't disconnect your system. Do not disconnect your system. That is wrong. My meter doesn't read. I still the same voltage amperage. By next Thursday, we give you an insight into the system. Why you see still no voltage drop in your meters. Most of you, what you've done is this. You have taken a system. You have taken a system and you plug your system into the wall. You have put a meter somewhere here and you're measuring how much voltage and current or amperage you're using, and you have connected your system to any kind of appliances as is in your manual when you receive your system. And what you don't see is, a lot of you don't see, is that this meter has come down by 5–10% and stopped. It doesn't go any lower. And you think the system doesn't work. Keep it going. We'll tell you why. Do not stop. Let your system still show nothing has changed. Doesn't matter what you supply. Follow the procedure as we said until we tell you what to do next. Do not change anything on the procedure which you're given. Start from the back of the house, to the middle of the house, to the front, load it up the same thing. Because we gave you everything, as usual with us, we don't give you the last point till you're all ready for it and there can't be any disruption. So carry on with the same process. Today, in the Innovation Center, have loaded up a method of how to nano-code with the firing if you're not happy with your system here. What this means, with a firing system, you don't use GANs. You, from the beginning, when you set the coil, when you set your wire to make a coil, it's all set to work with plasma. With the present coils, you make a caustic, you have a position where, okay, you got the coil running the right way. Now, when you nano-coat all the layers in one go. Everything is done in one pace. Then you add a voltmeter to directionalize it, and then you try to put GANs in it, and then you try to do all sorts of things, and then you connect it into your stacker, and you see. There are a few things when you nano-coat or GANs coat your springs. Doesn't matter which system you use. Your GANs, I've seen a lot of people, it's like a toothpaste. Your GANs should be like 70% drinking water. No more. 80% of your GANs material, which you're going to coat your system with, should be like running, it should be water, drinking water. What they call it, distilled water. Then you add the GANs of CO2 or other gases you want into the water, and you wash your system. You drain your coils in it. Don't rub. Don't put your coil in a tray and rub. You take all your layers off. You make it as you literally dip it in. You dip your system into the GANs very clearly. That doesn't touch anything, because the minute you touch, you destroy your layers. So then you take it out. One of the best way to do it is, I have tissues here. What do? I get a tissue from here. If this is your coil, you have put it through the GANs. You see, I washed. Even with the washing, you still have this. It's got to be at least 70-80% water. Pure water. Very, very just as it is, nothing in it. You shouldn't have any solid bits. It has to be totally liquid. And when you take it out, just very gently touch the bottom immediately, that you drain any liquid that it might connect any wires inside the setting. So you try to drain your coils straight away, leave it for 24 hours, let it dry. This way, this, what I call tubing, disappears. You don't have this problem. If you make any of these coils, don't touch them. Do not touch your coil. It's important, because you crush the layers. When you make your stacker, I've seen even the stackers here being brought up yesterday, has been set up totally the wrong way. We spent a fortune to bring in stackers. We flew Armand to Philippines to bring a stacker with him, and the first thing is the stacker is set up totally the wrong way to start with. Nothing should touch the stackers. I just saw in the lab, the stackers are sitting like on top of each other like a pancake. Already the damage is done. So keep your stackers separate. You put your rings on, and the most of the failure comes in little mistakes you make, and then you blame the system because you have not done the right. We spent a fortune bringing these in. I just walked into the lab. I thought this was a waste of thousands of euros straight, because all it's happened is literally the plate has been put like this on top of each other on the ring. It's gone. So be careful in how you do things and how you stack things up. The other point is, if you made a caustic or you did your rings through caustic method, make sure you wash your ring with the water, so you don't carry the caustic through. A lot of people just take it out. Even they do it, it's good enough. They go to put the guns on it. So you got to wash your rings. These are a few little things, then you find out it makes a big difference on your system. What I advise you, when you dry your system, connect the ends, see there is no short circuit, everything is perfect, there is no water left. Do the same thing with your capacitors. Check there is no short circuit in the capacitors. The structure has to be correct. You have to do everything A to Z if you want the end product to work. Not doing one thing and then failing somewhere else. The heating method is different. The firing method of the coil is totally different than the caustic. The reason it's different is you follow the instruction which is going to be released now. The Innovation Center has made a very simple video that it shows you how you have to nanocoat using fire flame. This way you get a very perfect nano coating for this job. Remember something very important. In the future, a lot of you will become confused more and more with nano coating. In English, we say horses for courses. You can't put a flat race on a chase, chase race of the horses. You can't put a horse show on a flat course to run. You train them, you have them for what it is, even they're all horses. Learn to understand nano coating with the GaNs creates a different layer for different purpose. Nano coating with electric current creates a different purpose. Nano coating with heating has a different purpose. In some cases, you cannot use one nano coating in the other for the other purpose. So, for example, what we see in agriculture, you cannot use electric method. You have to use the GaNs method, especially if you're using your nanomaterials for supporting increased production. If you use the electric system for nano coating, you get totally different growth on your product. You can control the product end, but how you nano coat your materials. In this case, is another one of them. If you nano coat with a caustic, you get a different result. If you nano coat with fire, you get a different result. But every process has its own technique. When you nano coat with caustic, you just put it in, heat it up, create the right condition to produce nanomaterials on the layer. It's totally random. It has no order. The only thing you can give order to it is by the current flow of the electrons, which are on the layer just before the nano layer, which has created the boundaries, and the top layer of your nanomaterial. Anything in that gap starts aligning. That's what it does. When you use the heating system, the process is different. In your coils, which you do nano coating, you have to follow the procedure as it comes. A strange phase. I have to stop. Good morning. Welcome home. Thank you very much.
Anybody tell you they love you today?
I love you today.
I love you too. There we go. There we go.
Sit down, please.
All right.
So, the important thing is the way you put the wires in two ends and you align your plasma with the fire, you dictate the alignment. Because the way you go with the fire, you're already aligning. So the alignment comes the way you fire it. You cannot do a burst fire. Good morning. Now they come the South Koreans and the others. They just walk in. Nationalities from all over. All welcome home. So when you fire, when you use a firing system, you literally realign the whole system as you go. Trying to create, I've seen some people putting their coils on a gas cooker, doesn't work. It's the same as putting it in a caustic. And you cannot control. Heating the wires, your coils, has a procedure. We've never shown this before, but it's good to see. The system which has worked, which is commercializing, is working on the heating system, not on a caustic system. It's totally different. So the heating system, we use the caustic specifically for a specific work, like in some of the car units, because it gives a better performance in some cases. But for the energy unit, we use the caustic system, but when you use the heating system, you have a more powerful system, more correct, you have a more homogeneous system. The thing is, I have to warn you, a lot of you go to a shop, you buy yourself a small container of gas, you buy yourself a burner, and you start burning what you see. In Western system, which you have these little containers, there's a little warning. When you get to the last 20%, you find out a lot of bits come out of the container, which literally attaches itself like matter to the nanolayer. So when you start, you buy a new, what do you call it, cylinder. It could be a small one, camping one. It could be a longer one. Even the big 25 kilo, he's using it at home, he says, this is a big one. You have to watch. When you come to the last 10%, 20%, you start getting residual of the tank in, you destroy your system. It becomes like a dust, you see it. If you nano coat perfectly with the gas from the beginning, you'll find out you can't scratch it off. It's impossible. It's exactly and better than caustic nano coating. If you touch your ring and you can see coming off, there is a little bit of mistake, you can correct it. So before you start looking at the video, understand the process. Don't go in and put it on a gas fire and start burning. If you overheat it when you put it on a gas fire, you have already destroyed the nanolayer. Nanolayer doesn't exist. It goes black, but it doesn't serve the purpose it's supposed to do. So what you got to do, when you see the video, understand it. Don't become a monkey see, monkey does. Understand the process. You start a chain of process from one end to another. Has to be, the chain of process has to be all the way the same. If you see rainbow colors while you're doing it or when you finish, the point of rainbow is your fault. It's a failure point. You go back to the top, just take it out. By heating you can do. When you use the flames to create these nano layers, why I go to detail with this, because we have talked a lot about caustic coating. A lot of you have no experience with nano coating with the heating. It's important. I give you a lot of experience in a very rapid way. Remember what you're doing, because even our people in the factory, were making a mistake, I looked at it and said, boys, you just heated it up. So the whole process had to be done. That's why we recall some of the systems back. You're checking it, because if you see a rainbow, it's a failure point. The structure is not nano-coated. So when you get the heater in your hand, usually what you do, you have a flame like this, and then you have a flame bit which is much lighter, which runs over. It's very empty looking, but you have a blue flame in the middle. Your tube has to be somewhere here. If you burn your system and just what I call, if I can put it here, if you put your tube here, you're not making nano coating, you're just coloring the system. It's at a specific temperature. And this temperature is created, this is your nozzle of your heater. Whatever. This region is where you need to be, not on the tip. Temperature is not right, and because you work on the tip, what happened? You're holding the system in your hand, and you find out, oops, falls off. It literally heats so much that the metal just drops. You start from one end, and you go all the way down to follow. It's the same way as clock and anti-clockwise, which you expect from your system to perform in your system. So if you use a coil clockwise in the system, you nano-coat it clockwise. If you are using magnetical system, which is anti-clockwise, you nano-coat it anti-clockwise. It's very important. Then you don't have problem with your coating. You don't use nano coating anti-clockwise and expect it to work. You create yourself the same problem as the winding. So where you're done, for example, you see it in the video in a very detail. This is, let's say, the gravitational, the center core. This is supposed to be clockwise. So you start clockwise, and then when it's finished to the top, you turn it back to front, because now you could have nano coated just this off the front, not the back. You turn it, and this time you start opposite, because if you remember, you started clockwise here. When I turn it, this becomes to this point. Now you start your nano coating from this side, so you follow the same pattern. This is very important, because if you nano coat this way, turn it and you nano coat that way, it's all gone. The last bit comes. No, you can do it together. And what you will see when you have two coils together, your magnetical and gravitational, we explained last week on 44 turns and 81. What you will find out is, what we've seen is the gravitational coil becomes purple blue most of the time. And the magnetical coil stays amber reddish color. You see it when you make a fuse, you see it. I was in the factory yesterday in the lab, and we could put all the coils next to each other and say which one is nano coated, where the mistake was. You can see a rainbow. This wasn't done. You look at here, you see the rainbow here, but you don't see it here. You see a line of rainbow. It just takes 2 seconds to recoat it. But you've got to pay very much attention. It's exactly the same as winding. So the front to you is where you started the coil going in. The single wire went in. When you look at it, that's your front. You go clockwise with gravitational. You turn it to the back of it, follow the same pattern, You do the same thing with your magnetical, or what we do in the factory is we go clockwise, then we go up, anti-clockwise, and we come back to it when it's cooled the same way 3 times. You've got to repeat the process of back to front 3 times. There is a secret in knowing how and if you have achieved a perfect coating. The perfect coating comes when you start from the top, give yourself a bit of wire to learn. When you put the fire tool somewhere here on the wire, you see a golden color. If it goes red, you fail. You have to let it cool, start re-nanocoating. The minute you start firing and you read the right temperature, you see gold color on the copper. That's the right, you follow it. The minute you see a rainbow, you go back, you bring it in. You're just reading the coated at the side behind it. So when you go on your coils, you see a gold color. As long as you see the gold color, you carry on. Don't go too fast. Allow the gold color follows your flame. And then you carry on. It takes about 1 minute for a set to nanocoat. You take your time. Just follow. You see a gold color. If you have a break like this, opening like this is a point of failure. If the heat is too much, your core from here just stops up. So make sure when you start nanocoating, make sure you have a tight pack that you get homogeneous. Because here the temperature changes, leakage is different. Try to set it up before you start nanocoating. Very closely, you follow the gold color till you come to the end, you walk out of it. You come to the end and you take it off. You wait, you see any imperfections. The second time it will correct itself. And the third coating, most of the problem goes away. Usually, you see the rainbow color at this point on the top end. Just because we're coming in, make sure it's very easy. Just take your time and go through it. Don't let it go red. If you go red, you're lost. Just stop the process, take a cup of tea, let it cool down, come back and start again. You realign it.
Mr. Kesh, you want me to play that video of Brennan's about the
yes.
fire
Before
tool?
we show the video, we explain everything because then it's very difficult to follow the video. I watched the video and now when they see it, they understand what's happening instead of showing the video and then trying to explain it. The other point you got to remember is always, before you start the process, close the loop. Never start. These loops have to be closed. Always close your loop. Because the flow dictates the loop as well. You don't come back and do it later on. Make everything ready. As you're going into assembly, working, leave it for at least 2 hours. Don't nanocoat and jump in. Leave it for about 2 hours. Make your gans in liquid condition. You can pour it on it, or you can make a small, narrow container, shake it that all gans is floating, dip it in all the way, take it out, put a tissue, drain it that you don't get any leakage, any blockage with the gans. Leave it for 24 hours. Don't fast try to dry. Your fast dry is 0, failure. Because you got to understand something which I've explained before, and a lot of you maybe missed it. That is, when you have your copper wire, and then you nano-coated it, it's worse this way. This is your wire. When you nano-coated it, understand the process of coating. I think this is Where did we have that thing? Doesn't matter. When you nano coat, it's just, I've got to get it right. That it comes right. Okay. Let's do it this way. Get this off. This is important. That's why it's better to get it right, that we know exactly what we're doing. And I think this is a part which has been missed. When you nano coat, you make your nano layers. When you make nano layers like this, go back to the original teaching. When you add the GANs, you think you have to paste it on. It's exactly what you don't need to do. When you paste it on, you force it into a matter state. When the way you dilute it and you hang it, you leave it to the natural process of the gravitational magnetic field of this to work in a very easy way. So what happens when, let's say, you use a copper oxide GANs? See what happens. Your GANs material connects to your nanomaterial by magnetic fields, not by force of mass of matter you put in. This is the difference. This is where a lot of your system fails. That's why we tell you to liquidize it. If you see even the ones I made a few weeks ago, as much as you could see liquidized, not drained, you still have more gas on the other side, but the material decides to hold on to. When you dry them, hang it. So, if you understood this, the GANs material connects to your nanomaterial by magnetic gravitational field forces, not by pasting a toothpaste. Then, because it's done naturally, it doesn't come off. It takes radiation of the fields directly on its own. Understand the separation between the plasma technology and the matter technology. So, what in fact you've done, you make a link between your GANs matter and all the nanomaterials layers. With matter, you paste it, it's there. But when a system, a nano-coated system, accepts a GANs system, it does not connect to one layer of the GANs, it literally connects with all the layers. So the locking is absolutely perfect. That way, you don't force, you don't destroy. So you find out that's why you use water. Because you allow the nano layers take what they like from the solution. Are we clear? This is the difference. This is how you get your system working. And because it's this attachment, now the field of the plasma literally travels. Because it doesn't have a physical connection, it has a magnetic gravitational connection. Most of you should have seen this connection, but restricted to nano layers. When you've seen, you take pictures of the nano-coated, especially I've seen a lot of pictures of the pens being photographed, and you see the field flow around it. That field flow comes from the field of the red one. That's what you see. And if you do an experiment, I'll put the pictures on the Keshe Foundation, what do you call it, website in the discussion groups. For example, do a test and take a picture. Make 3 or 4 rings, make a gap, make it 3 or 4 rings or 10 rings, and then photograph your 10 pens again. And you see the distribution of the fields is different. So by distribution, you see when you work with nanomaterials, you feel the red on its own because that's the field of the nanolayer. When you GANS it, you extend it to a free plasma. And the connection is not enforced, but by pleasure because it helps and it holds. Then you find out when you use the technology for energy, the energy runs in a very simple way, along both layers. Here, above, and inside your nanolayers. What you'll find later in the work, most of your DC power, most of your DC power comes from here, and AC will come from this layer and this layer. Because now it's a free choice. That's why in your systems, when you make at the end, you put the copper wire connected on top of the nano. By the way you connect it, you crush the nano layer at the point of contact. So you bring it closer to the matter state of the copper. As Armand says, at the point when you bring your copper wire out into the first plate of nano material, where you've done the connection, to get the perfect connection, just touch the copper wire with a little bit of caustic, cold caustic. Now it becomes a perfect homogeneous between the matter and nano layer. So the whole process is very simple. Then when you made your coils, when you made your capacitors, carry on with the same process. Connect it if you want to a meter, set your system up, and as we said, as we've seen up to now, all of you will report 5 to 10%, and most of you will write the system does not work because you don't see the reduction more than 5 to 10%. And I tell you, that's exactly where we want you to be. What we want you to do, carry on with the same process till you nano coat the whole wiring in the house. Follow the procedure on the manual. You receive your units, you say, I only see 5%, 4%, 10% reduction, and it's not working. And we tell you, thank you very much. Perfectly in order. We have 18 systems in circulation. We don't know where they're gone, so we wait till people tell us. Otherwise, the rest of the units are in working condition. We set up 18 units. We know possibly 1 or 2 where they could be, but now we serialize everything. We can trace everything back down. It was just a process of understanding where things go. So, you see, you build your system at home. You're totally disappointed. The system doesn't work. And I tell you, change it if you want to the firing coating, because a lot of you plastered your ring with the paste. You can blow it out. And then we would like you to stay there. There he walks in. Good morning, Armin. Our Filipino-speaking gentleman. How are you? Safe journey. Thank you very much. Thanks for playing. So you see the whole process is exactly where you should be. If you fire it, if you pasted it, if you did not realign it with the wires to current flow, you'll find a lot of problem. But if you've done it right, or if you haven't fired it, make sure there is no connection between your lines, between your rings. You short circuit plasmas. Then I'll show you where the problem sits. And a lot of you put 3 kilowatts, you go up to your 2 kilowatts. If you cascaded it, you see to 5.4 kilowatts before your copper starts melting. It means you cannot go over 2 kilowatts because then what happens? The failure comes not out of your system. The failure comes out of the nanomaterial holding itself, but the matter inside melting. Then this physical system failure comes. If you leave your wires, for example, on the table and heat it up, which is nano-coated, you can heat up as much as you like. It'll never melt, never opens up. It should not do, unless you have a failure in the coating where the metal comes out. So what happens if your system overheated? Anybody tells us you sold the system, which is wrong. We open it up, we look, we know you overloaded it. It's your problem because we can photograph it and show you how you overloaded it. Because separation of coils, separation of the connection is due to overheat, overloading. System cannot be overloaded. If anybody's system doesn't work, when you connect something new, you have overloaded it, you broke the agreement which is sold to you. Even if you make your own system, you see a failure and you see breakdown is when you overload it, overheat it. These nano-coated materials can be held in hand. They should not get warm. You should not be able to heat that much, feel that much heat. In some nano layers, the more internally you heat up the copper, the cooler the outside nano layer gets. We know this for a fact. So understand, and the reason before I go for why it feels cooler, because inside temperature tries to absorb energy in magnetic field from outside. It's not a heat transfer. It's magnetic field transfer like a human body. It's got 37, 40 degree temperature control, and that's why it stays cool inside as well. You can hold it. So you see the video. Remember the little tips, how it's done. And if your system melts, means you have overloaded it. We have tried to put a filter in. Our certification by EU, CE certificate you have underneath, confirms the correctness. The technology works as it is, unless it's overloaded, or in some cases, what you do when you make your coils, just to be safe, you keep it down. So now here, you hold, create a matter condition. It becomes like heating it, and then you have a problem. Try to leave your coils free. If you try to attach a coil to keep, if you keep it on this side here, underneath, hold it there. That it allows heat transfer. Don't grip your system in one point both sides, or don't hang it in one place. If you hold one on one top, on the other position, hold it under. That the heat transfer is complete. You don't melt your system. This is, you will see it when we go in development of the batteries. So, would you like to show the video? Share a screen with us, Rick? The Innovation Center Cash Foundation in Philippines is just started. It's about 6 of them, and they add more people to them. It's at their infancy till we equip it. It's in a very small room till they set up their structure. But as I said to Armand, it's not the table and chairs. It's the spirit and understanding of the knowledge by this team.
Mr. Kesh, there's 4 videos, and one is of the proper coiling, and then there's the MagRev coil fire coating process, and there's another one on
GANs?
Yes, the GANs.
Show them in sequence. Show them from the beginning in sequence.
Okay.
Okay. It'll be about, I think, about 15 minutes. We'll watch it.
Yes, they're quite short and very
compact.
particular. Compact, yes. Very nicely done.
I've seen it. It's been sent. Okay.
Let me get this screen sharing going here.
From now on, till he gets the screen share sorted out, Rick, I explained to you that those of you who work are paid by the foundation as researchers according to your ethos, because we've seen some of you fast shooters, what I call. You're paid by the foundation to develop technologies that we assess correct. You just pick it up and put it on your Facebook. It doesn't work that way. You're paid by the foundation. What we put out has to be correct the way it should be. Please do not post what we pay you to develop for humanity just to give yourself a credit. Comes out the way it is credited to you. This is very important because we've seen some of the people who are on the payroll of the foundation release their finding, and then they say, oh, everybody has copied me. Nobody acknowledged me. So it's your fault. You work for the foundation, put it through the channel, we put it out, everybody knows. So there's a few of you out there who are doing it. This is not a warning, but this is what you're doing to yourself. At the end of the day, we share the knowledge, but that way is done correctly in the right way. And then we give you a chance to teach it the way we did with Alex and others. Carry on.
Just a second, I have to do it a little bit differently because of I can't get it to screen share in my second window right now in Zoom. So, okay, just a second here.
You have very short screen share.
You should be able to see it on your screen there now.
Yeah, if you allow the film to run.
And now I have to change my live stream here a little bit so I can.
Don't forget, let the voice run on the live stream. Check. Last time you forgot to put a live stream voice on and it was blank.
That's a good point. I haven't been telling people here on the live stream. Okay, but we are ready to go now on the video.
Okay.
So. Okay, here we go.
Can you go back to the beginning and repeat it again? The first turn. Where do you start the first turn? Freeze it there, please. You see, he puts it between the finger and the screwdriver. You can make it automatic. Start it again, please. You see, he goes in front, not over. Go back again, please, and just repeat this. You see the handle kept. Just freeze picture by picture, please. You see it just comes in the front and it turns backward. This is the way it's done. You put and you turn it. The coil always look down. They always give. It doesn't take. Okay. Carry on, please. When you look from this way, is anti-clock. When you look from the end mate, is clockwise. Okay, can you Show us the second one, please. This is the way you fire the coil after you made it.
From scratch.
Focus.
So the direction should be the flow of gravitational here, clockwise, then counterclockwise to the outside. This is the front side. We start on the junctions. We have to first secure the junctions and put them. So they are already connected, making sure they are already connected, considering plasma connection. Then proceed with the first clockwise direction on the gravitation. Wait for the copper to shine, not a dark shine but a very light color shining. Then move the flame to the next area, then the nanomaterials will simply follow. Very easy during the first session of nano coating compared to the second and the third, where you have to already have a coating layer that it looks like a ceramic when you first apply the flame. This one is fresh copper, so it's easier to reach a shiny copper surface. That's the correct temperature. If you don't wait for that, this is what happened. The color is not like the darker one. If you reach that temperature, you get a very nice color. Okay, first you will have, it will manifest as if it is magnetical. Since there's no magnetical on the other outside, on the outside. It will manifest a brown-like color like this one. But look carefully when we start nano coating on the magnetical. Okay, let's continue. Nano coating the magnetical loop. Adjust the flame to up to 2 inches of blue flame. We have at least 2 inches of blue flame. That's a very good flame for this one. So we'll start here. The motion now will be counterclockwise. We do this to initiate flow. This time our flow is heat, not yet electrical or the plasma flow. Simulating this way will prepare the material for its intended function. Okay, the copper is shining now. Very light color. Wait for that color, that shining color, then move to the next area. This will ensure very good result. Okay. You can move backwards. Oh, I overdo it. Make sure that you won't go red hot. what will happen when you go red the copper, the nano coating will flake out when it is cooled down. It is already at cooler temperature. So if we don't go red hot temperature on the copper material, it won't flake out. It will have a very hard coating.
You got to remember, you are nano coating two rings, one inside and one outside. You only see the outside ring, but inside has to be nano coated too. So it's important that your flame is on the blue side, that the inside foil is the same way. Where you see a blue and a red on your coil, blue is gravitational, red is magnetical. So it means you have a mixture, you have a blockage. You have to make sure it's continuously one color.
I keep on going backwards to make sure we don't have that multiple colors coating. That multiple colors coating indicates a lower temperature. Should we pass again on this side, just do the same direction. I would like to uniform the coating. And this is our first pass coating. We have to do it again on the other side. Just turn it around. But this time the direction is the opposite. We're simply following the flow of heat we initiated before. So on the center we have counterclockwise this time. Which if we do it, if we look at the other side, it's clockwise. Wait for that shiny surface, then move. As you can see, if you move fast, you won't see a shiny surface, but like this one, you will only see like a ceramic coating. Waiting for the shiny part is the correct temperature. That temperature will depend on the batch of copper that you have. Okay. Moving on the magnetical. As you can see, it doesn't shine easily, so you have to heat it up. The right temperature, you'll notice that the material or the nanomaterial as you move the plane, will have the same speed as your movement of the plane, as you move the plane. Meaning you reach the right temperature. If you're in a hurry, you want to go like this, the nanomaterial is left behind. So you do it slowly, allowing that very shiny surface to appear. You have a good temperature and a very good coating. Okay, we're done.
Okay, well, that's that one. We'll go to the next one. If there's nothing else on that you'd like to say, Mr. Kesh?
Nothing, guys. That's why I explained before everything. But now you see it. Now it comes up.
Set up.
This is how you apply GANs.
Okay, here we go.
This is a dried CO2 GAN. And that's the CO2. It's a water. And a lot of tests has been done using product tubes, old like film containers. I use them a lot. They're one of the best things as a small reactor. Don't forget that the gas has to go in the inside tube as well. It's not just outside. The inner tube has to absorb as much as possible. This is how they make the capacitors. Video of how to fire the gas, the capacitor. You've got to follow the same procedure. no system using the same guns for the coil.
Making plasma capacitors.
Okay, that was the last one of the videos.
Okay, thanks very much.